Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Muhamad Fakhri Alfarizi. I'm a student from University of Bima Sarana Informatika. I'm from class 19, 1C and 25 with a student number 19, 25, 21 and 20. My major is from System Informatika. However, before we started, I'd like to give my thanks to Miss Puspa to give me this chance to talk about smoking in campus area. As far as we aware, smoking is always been a constant problem within our daily lives. Every day we saw people smoking, from old people, worker, or even the youth. Now, smoking is may just sounds normal these days. However, in campus, it's just more than breaking the rule. Every puff releases harmful chemicals that not only into the smoker's lung, but also the surrounding air. Especially, secondhand smoker can cause headache or even long-term health problems for people nearby. Imagine walking past a bench where people is smoking without even touching the cigarettes. You are inhaling smoke that contains hundreds of harmful chemicals. Well, today tobacco kills more than 7 million people each year, including the estimate of more than a million non-smokers exposed to the second-hand smokes. Beyond health, there's also environmental impacts. Cigarettes butts are the most common form of litter worldwide. They take years to decompose and often end up in drains or soil, polluting the environment. Maybe a small act of smoking on campus can leave a big footprint. So, what we can be done? Many campus provide designated smoking areas, so smokers can have a place without affecting the others. So some maybe also had the programs to help students to cut off their addiction by encouraging friends to smoke responsibility. We can also play a role respecting the non-smoke areas and keeping our campus clean. Choice is clear. Smoking is made a personal decision, but its effect ripple across the entire campus. Protecting your health, respecting the others, and keeping the environment are responsibility we all can share to keep it clean. Well, in the end, smoking on campus might seem like a small act, but it affects everyone. By being aware, making responsibility choice, and respecting the rules, we all can contribute to healthier, cleaner, and safer campus. Thank you for watching, and let's all do our part to keep our campus smoke free. Alright, here we are. This is my simple present tense presentation made by myself. Name is Muhamad Fakhri Alfarizi, class 19, 1C, and 28, with student number 19, 25, 21, and 20. Now, what is simple present tense? Simple present tense is a verb tense used to describe action, habits, or situations that are true in present, happens regularly, or always true. The simple present tense is the one most common tense in English. We use it when we're talking about action or situations that are true now, that happens regularly, or that never change. It's also used to describe habit, general truth, and sometimes fixed schedules. Now, when and how do we use the simple present tense? We use it. The first function it would be expressing habits or daily routines. We use simple present tense to talk about action we do regularly or every day. For example, I wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. She drinks coffee every morning. They go to school every day. So it counts as habit. The function third, it would be expressing facts and general truth. We use it when we talk about things that are always true and never change with time. Example, the water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, the sun rises in the east. A cat has four legs. So it's about facts that we can change. Maybe, for example, I'm a man, I'm a guy. That's a fact, right? We begin the next one. The function third, expressing feelings, thoughts, and opinion. We use simple present tense to express feelings, emotion, thoughts, and opinion. Maybe, for example, I love music. We feel happy today. They believe in hard work. So it can be also used to express our feeling. I am mad. I am happy. I'm afraid. That's called a simple present. Now, simple present basically is divided into two. One use the best verb form. The other use verb with s, or is. Which form you use depending on the subject. It could be pronoun or a noun, when whatever it is third person, a singular or not. However, there is another kind which we use the formula for three kind of sentence, which is the formula one. It would be positive sentence. To make this kind of sentence, we use verb one, the base form, except for the third person singular subjects, he, she, it, which use verb one with is or singular subject, he, she, it, which use verb one is. The subject would be maybe example I, you, they, we. With the formula, use subject, first base verb, and object. Maybe for example, I play guitar. I would be subject. Play would be base verb, and guitar is the object. Well, the second would be the formula negative sentence. To make sentence in this tense, we use verb one, the base form, except the third person singular subjects he, she, it, which use verb one as a singular subject he, she, it, which use verb one or plus ses to make negative sentence in this tense. We do not or does not before verb one. For example, it's still just the same except we use don't or do not. It's base verb and object. Maybe for example, it's like maybe for example, I don't like coffee. They don't like soccer. They don't play soccer. Another example is that does she watch TV or does she eat rice? You see, the subject, base verb, or object for singular one. Now the third one is interrogative sentence. To make sentence in this tense, we use verb one, the base form, except the third person singular subject he, she, it, which use verb one, which it just said basically. However, we add More likely, I, you, they, we. With formula do, subject, base verb, and object. For example, I don't like coffee. They don't like soccer. He, she, it is the subject. Subject formula would be subject does not, doesn't, which means base verb and object. For example, she doesn't watch TV. He doesn't eat meat. Now, there's a tips that might help us out on simple present, which is do and versus does. What's the difference? We use do and does as helping verbs in simple present tense. They help make negative and question sentence. Maybe for example, do we use I, you, we, and they. For example, do you like apples? Or we don't play football. That is do. Another example is does. Does is use he, she, it. Another example, does he likes apple? She doesn't like football. That's an example. Now the example of its daily use. The positive form example is we use subjects to be and complement. It's quite similar. It's just same with the formula before. I play footballs. She play footballs. They study English. He watches TV. That's example. Now the negative one. Subjects to be, not and complement. To be is used is, are. And the complement is noun, adverb, or objective. Maybe in the example, I don't like coffee. She doesn't eat meat. They don't play football. He doesn't watch TV. The another example is that interrogative form example. To be, subject, and complement with the plus is the symbol. Do you play football? Do she likes pizza? Or do they study English? Does he watch TV? So the plus is that we use the question mark as interrogative sentence becomes we ask. Now, the common mistake in simple present. There is quite several of them. Several of them. Common mistake is incorrect use with adverbs of frequency. One of the most common mistakes is failing to match the verb form with the subject, especially in the third person singular, he, she, it. For example, the incorrect one, she walks to school every day. The correct one, she walks to school every day. So the other yes is could change the tense. Another example of this common mistake is that confusing the present simple with the present continuous. Present simples, for example, I like this song. And present continuous, I'm liking this song. Or water boils at 100 degrees. That's a fact. Or present continuous, I can talk. I'm brushing my teeth. Certain verbs like loves, like, hate describe states of ongoing action. They usually stay in present simple. Another example, maybe it used to facts to give habit and facts we had. Now tips to remember simple present, we had to remember how habits, always, facts, belief, feelings, or opinions. Your memory shortcut basically. S is is for he, she, it. And in positive sentence. One do, does, use negative and question main verb stay base form. Time, words, clue. Always, usually, often, sometimes, never, or every day on Mondays. Nouns. Nouns, which mean present continuous, don't confuse the action with what happening at this moment. So it doesn't talk about what happening now currently. So last one is check subject verb agreement, singular, plural if are matter. Now thank you for watching. My name is Muhamad Fakhri Alfarizi, student from University of Bima Sarana Informatika. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.